Always on time.
Okay, so I can actually move this closer. I'm going to be shifting this thing soon. Moving this whole thing out of here. Putting the couch in.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah, this is going to be like an office music room. So some art stuff in here, but art's going to be primarily delegated to the other room.
Cool.
Yep. Yeah, we're thinking about doing some. Ariel's music teacher. She was going to do like music lessons.
Cool.
Yeah, and this is like a perfect room because it's not
Yeah.
connected to anything else in the complex. It's like
Yeah.
to make as much noise as possible. Yeah,
That's great.
Everybody wins. Everybody wins.
You were here before us.
Is that true?
I don't know.
Because if I set up the room, in a sense, maybe we're here simultaneously.
Well, we're older than you, so we were here way before.
That's true. We are older.
Yeah, we're older. And add us together, we're like 72.
That's weird. Yeah. You're almost 72. Like 70. You're 70 going on 71.
I'm gonna be 71 soon.
Hmm.
Yeah. Wow.
Weird.
All right. Hello.
Hi. Yeah. So actually, we got a bunch of viewers tonight. What I did for this evening is because it's like a special thing, is I posted in our community page like a big old long sort of like just message to our community. I don't know, did you see it? Are you on my page? Are you on the GA Retro community page?
No.
You should be, just in general. I think it's a good idea. It's good practice. It's good for your health.
For my health.
Yep.
Okay.
And just as it
Checking this
gives some people the opportunity to sort of get some insight as to how I run my business. A lot of it came down to the business acumen that I have is based largely off of personal philosophy, and I don't just go business personal life. Business is integrated directly into my personal life.
Yes.
And I very much run the store with a very certain panache that is strong with my personality. Everything I do with my business is an extension of me.
That's kind of a perfect way to describe how I do my work.
Yeah, very much. Very much. Okay. For your health, yes, we got a bunch of people on here tonight. This is actually kind of cool.
Yeah. We did an impromptu thing. We both needed it.
It's been a heck of a week for a lot of people. As you know, I was talking to Ariel. She's had a rough weekend. I even talked to my friend Elle, and she's had mostly like the past 24 hours have been pretty crazy. And so like for a lot of people, this week in general, has been just sort of all over the place. So.
Yeah, you had mentioned last night that it was a full moon this weekend.
It was Friday.
And it seemed to be haywire for a lot of people.
Yeah, it was pretty nuts.
Yeah, especially John.
Yeah, there's a lot going on. Some of you might have known or heard that this is just a minor kind of thing. We'll start with the week's events where I'm supposed to get my tile done. 8 o'clock in the morning on Wednesday. Guy doesn't show up all day long. Calls me at 2 o'clock to tell me he'll be there on Friday. Okay, that really sucks. Waste of time. Whatever. Go about doing my day. Still, I was actually pretty pissed though.
But you were waiting all day.
I was waiting all day. I wasn't leaving. I wasn't going and doing other things I could have been doing because I was waiting for the tile guy. Anyway, so we have a podcast on Thursday, and then I go, oh, they'll be there tomorrow. This will be fine. Guy calls me at 9 Friday morning. Hey, come pick up this and that, the other thing to do your tile. Okay. Just simply does not show up all day long. Finally left at like 6:30 to go to the store, just get ready for movie night and just sort of get out of the house. I was kind of pissed again. Okay, so like just a waste of time and energy, because it's one thing to be like, hey man, like I can't even make it till next week, and just let me know. I don't care if things get delayed or if things change or whatever. That happens. That's life. But to just not communicate with me that you're simply not going to show up.
Right.
So I called the company we got the tile from, and it was he hadn't picked up the tile at all. So I'm just going to go pick it up myself tomorrow, and I've got a couple other much more reliable people who are going to help me with that instead.
Yes, amen.
So, but on top of that, so there was that, and then my girlfriend's been out of town for the past week and a half, and so I miss her, and so things are sort of heightened, just in general, just because I want to hang out with everyone's here, and then I had some buddies come over and were helping me out Saturday afternoon. We're moving stuff around, we're cleaning up the house, we're sorting, we're organizing. I ordered a pizza. Literally the moment I put my pizza down on the table for us to open it and start eating it, I get a call from one of my employees who tells me that we got robbed. So it was like, holy crap, man. Like, what a, what happened? And so I had to go to the store and talk about that. And these guys, they're upstanding. They're resilient. They're strong. They're smart. They knew exactly what to do. They handled it all completely. And I was just sort of there to make sure everything was okay and see if I needed to do anything. They handled the whole deal. And I said, okay, well, I mean, are you guys fine? Bottom line is, and mental health is concerning. Make sure that they're, not like, because that's an event, that's
Yes.
like the whole head thing. And so they were both fine. I said, do you want to take some time off? Do you want to take some days off? Do you want to get covered so you can like sort of relax and decompress and get away from this? Because that's important to me. And they said, no, we're fine. We'll handle this.
Yeah.
And it seemed like they both did great. And today they're on point. Everybody's doing, a great job. So it was nice to see that. But it's a lot of emotional stuff going on. And then Ariel contacted me, this weekend, and she's just, I won't get into the details, but she's been having a rough week, a lot of stuff going on, and I can't be there to help her with stuff, and that frustrates me. And it's just like everything is exacerbated.
Yeah.
Basically.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, John came over last night and just sort of like flopped down in my living room and just told me about all of it. And,
yeah.
And the energy that I felt from him was heightened is a good word for it.
Yeah.
I just felt a lot from you. And then, so I kind of thought to myself, we should process this out.
Yeah.
And process it out where the people that love and care can be sending vibes and everything. Because this is a very interactive thing.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Whoever's viewing and whoever's talking, whoever's doing whatever, it may not be visible or obvious, but we're all affecting each other throughout this whole process. And I know that this has been a really therapeutic thing for John and for myself to do whenever we're just needing a shift in our energy to happen. So I thought last night it would be a good idea to do that tonight, especially before John leaves town and Yeah,
definitely. It's the kind of thing that I don't actually get too worked up that frequently. I'm usually pretty good.
That's so true.
And this is very notable that
Yes.
for sure the past couple of days have definitely been a lot more heightened.
Yes.
It's really, so it's interesting for me. And when Michelle prompted this, it was like, that just makes sense. It's a good idea to get that out there. But also it's a good idea to, Sunday night actually seems really good. We have a whole lot of viewers right off the bat. And
it's an easy night for more people, for me anyway, too.
Yeah.
Actually.
Yeah. And so this is actually kind of a nice evening to be able to do this and discuss everything and, just go over some ideas and concepts and thoughts and just sort of, things that have been on our mind. One of the big things Michelle and I were discussing today was...
You just got to see what Rick said, though.
I'm volunteering to sit at the front door, John. Hey, that's... So what's tough about the volunteering in terms of people say, I'm security, I would like to help out at the store, I'll do security for you. I cannot possibly pay these people to be at my store 24/7.
Yeah.
It is number one. And it's very gracious of me for anybody to even try to offer that kind of thing, because I don't want to ever recruit somebody's services without compensation of some sort. And I wish I could do a lot more. So, because things could happen literally any time of day. Security could be applied and required literally whenever.
Yeah.
There's just simply no knowing when it could happen. So that's I like people's offers quite a bit. I just wish I could take them up on it.
It's hard for you
reasonably.
It's been hard for you to take offers in general.
It can be,
It's hard for you to accept help in some ways sometimes.
Sometimes, yeah. There's times when I'm more open and able to, and sometimes where I'm definitely more shut off from it. Yeah, for sure. What
is it you think that differentiates those times?
I think if I'm feeling more confident or secure, it's easier for me to open up and let people in and help me out with things, because it's usually for stuff that's. I had the guys, come over this weekend and help me for pizza, just help me organize video games. Very simple, very easy, but many hands. And it was something that was there's no jeopardy to anything or there's nothing dire. Whereas when something more pressing comes up, I almost feel as if I want to shoulder the responsibility more and not involve people unnecessarily, I guess.
I don't know. I'll throw this out there. I'm not sure if this is relevant or not, but I feel like in some ways when we struggle to accept help from others,
Mhm.
I think there's a shame factor. I think there's an element of feeling like protective of that vulnerability being seen or held by another. I think there's a shame factor actually that can play into it, and I think it's really subtle. Sometimes it's really obvious, but I think I think it's there because. And then of course, there are situations where it's just not feasible.
Right.
Period. And it's not like an emotional hang up.
Yeah.
I'm not saying that's because it sounds feasible what you're talking about. I'm not labeling it that, but just in general when
calling me out.
Yeah, no, I'm not saying that at all. I actually I'm not feeling any of that at all from you at all. Right now, and I know what that feels like because I've known you for years, and I know what it feels like. John has got a shame hang up. Yeah. And that's not what I'm saying, but in general, when help is a difficult thing to accept or to allow, I think that if it's an emotional hang up, I think that's usually what that is. Sure. I think that's what that is, and there has to be a comfort and an acceptance and almost a confidence in our vulnerability or our limitation in order to let somebody else hold it and help us with it. And it makes me think, I've talked about this concept a little bit in the past before, but confidence and vulnerability have such a married relationship with one another because confidence is something that knows its own ability, and humility is something that knows its own limitations. So they're both based in understanding reality. Right. There's no narcissism in them, confidence and humility. So they're actually sort of inseparable. Whereas being, narcissistic in this direction or that direction, like, oh, poor me, the whole world hurts me. Or vulnerability in that sense, it actually is sort of a narcissistic thing and a self-centered thing to think in that way. And
the world's doing this to me.
And in terms of like security at the store, that's crossed my mind about your store before.
Sure, absolutely.
Especially in this last year, there's been a lot of activity in that way that has happened at your spot. Oh no.
And so many people. Oh yeah, she's buffering. I don't know what side that's on. And I love the offer. In fact, I've become a lot more open to help as well too in recent years and accepting help from people and very humbly trying to accept it because I know that nobody has to do this for me. Nobody has to give me their time. So when they do, I try to be as appreciative as I possibly can. Entirely, because it's very gracious that anybody would give me anything like that. And some people offer it for free, and I'm like, I want to give something. I want to repay the favor in any way that I'm able. And some people just want kindness or service, or like they just do it.
I gotta say something.
Okay, you have to do it.
I have to say something, and you should take some bites. John's starving.
I'm almost dead.
Super hungry. Yeah, he's perishing right before my eyes.
Exactly.
When you say I want to give something back, I think it's so vital that we remember when somebody is offering something from their heart or from their generosity, it's a gift to allow them to exercise that because it's a part of their own self that they feel called to offer, to give, to exercise, to support, to help, and to accept that is actually the highest payment you could give them anyway. There's no higher payment than to allow somebody to exercise the highest level of themselves that's being called.
Oh, that's fair.
Do you know what I'm saying?
That makes a lot of sense.
I mean, I'm thinking about, with Rick's offer right there, and just having been able to spend some time with this force of a man, this powerhouse of a man. The whole family, and there's this purity of intention that you can feel from that whole family, and to allow somebody with that energy to flow it's the kindest thing you can do for that person. And again, I'm not saying go for it because I know there are practicalities that you have to be aware of with liabilities and things like that. But just in general and as an example, for whenever there is help being offered, to deny someone the ability to do that is actually, it actually shuts off that flow for them.
That's interesting that you say that. I guess, from the other point of view is that like if I can offer to help somebody, I don't want them to repay me. You know, I want
Yes.
to be able to do it. I want to give to them 100% out of the gift of genuine giving, and not because I'm, you know, paying myself forward, you know, for favors down the road. I'm not, you know, putting this galactic currency into my bank to, you know, withdraw from later.
Mhm.
It's literally just to give for the sake of someone else's benefit.
Yes.
So I suppose that makes sense.
And I think it plays into it that there has to be a trust there, because I know that
Some people are having
oh no, buffering issues. Is it on our side?
it looks like it might be. It's hard to say because I mean we're hardwired in.
Is there a way to, you know what?
Let me check something as well too real quick.
Mine is doing perfectly.
It's perfect. Let me if I do that, how long does it take before you get to see? See, it seems fine on our end as well too. That I can see. That's tricky. I don't know.
Yeah, I'm looking here at it right now.
Yeah, and your phone is fine.
And I'm not seeing any issues.
Yeah.
But.
And we can try. I can reload the page and it should just put us right back on.
Should we do that?
Yeah, I'm gonna try real quick just to see if that will help. Okay, so we tried reloading the room. Toaster said he's fine. He's also out in Irvine, California.
Okay.
So ideally we're good. It's hard to say, yeah, what kind of issues could have been happening, but whatever the case, we should be fine now. So that's just rejoining. Yeah. Okay.
Yeah. Okay.
Excellent. Who knows? The shadow knows.
Yeah, I think it seems okay to me. But,
okay. We'll figure it out. We'll sort of play it by ear.
Where was I? I was totally.
We were focused
into what I was saying.
We had discussed the concept of
trust. That's what I was saying.
Right.
That's what I was saying. That to accept help or to offer help that is not wanting repayment.
Mm-hmm.
I'll say to offer that help. The no on the take exchange of help support, whether it's going this direction or that direction. It requires some kind of trust, I feel. And the reason that I say that is because I know that you trust me very, very much.
Explicitly.
And you won't hesitate to let me do something for you.
That's true.
And I trust you so much. And I wouldn't even hesitate to allow you to come to my rescue in any way and at any heights. Do you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And I don't think of repayment for you. I never think I need to repay John for anything. It doesn't cross my mind at all.
That's a good point.
And the appreciation, though, it's not a take for granted, though. It actually is not that whatsoever. It really is an open channel flow.
Yeah, I've never felt that in any way.
Yeah, no, not at all.
It's very much you simply do because you're there. You can't.
Yes.
And it's never ever been like a, you know, I hope she pays me back later, or I hope she does this, or what can I get out of it ever between us. That's true.
Never, not ever.
That's true.
And I think that accepting help requires some level of trust.
It does. That makes sense.
Yeah.
And I do trust this man explicitly. After meeting Rick, even once, it was very clear. And then getting a chance,
instantaneously.
Yeah. Some people you can definitely tell, and it was a blessing for sure to be able to meet him and the family. And every single one of them was like, I can't remember if we were talking about this or if we talked about it at the house or whatever, but meeting you guys when we were over there was like, it felt like I'd known you for years.
Yeah.
Like it was so natural and easy and just, it flowed well.
Yeah. And I'll confess, I've had moments in my days where I'm not particularly busy or wrapped up in something where I'm like, I want to see Rick and Emily better. Where I have a feeling like that. So
yeah, we all need to go out to dinner again or something.
Yeah,
you just feel like it.
Like almost like a
old friends.
Almost like a missing. Like Ariel. Like how you feel about Ariel?
Right.
Where's Ariel?
Yeah, where's Ariel?
Yeah. Where is she?
I've seen she's over there.
She's not here.
No,
she's nowhere nearby.
No.
Yeah. Anyway. So
that's it. Good night.
Those are my thoughts on that.
Yeah, no, that's I like that. I like that a lot. It's very gracious, and there's almost a Japanese styling that it reminds me of, in terms of it's sort of like a cultural humility. where if you go to somebody's house and you give them a present, it is customary for them to first, no thank you, deny the present.
Yes, you told me about that.
And then you have to offer again, because it's polite on your end to actually offer it a second time to insist, and then it's polite for them to accept it the second time. It's a very interesting thing. It's a completely...
That's really interesting.
Mm-hmm.
So, and I'm obsessed with subtitling interactions and things. So when I think about that, I think of the subtitle of, to refuse it at first is to say, I see your generosity and I see how large. And I'm basically saying to you that you do not owe me.
Yeah.
That.
Yeah.
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 And then to offer it again, that statement, and I'm just making this up as I go.
Yeah.
That statement of I'm not offering this to you for me.
Right.
Anyway.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's I'm not doing this for me anyway.
Yeah. That's very much, I think, the gist of it.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Interesting.
Yeah. So that's that about my ideas on that, and I can also attest. That's how it feels to be a therapist.
Sure.
That's how it feels to be a therapist. Because my entire just work, and I don't want to say my work, but it's the work. It's my life work.
Right.
It doesn't matter where, or when, or who, or anything, compensation or not.
Yeah.
It's what I'm made of. Is that.
Yeah.
And when it's not accepted or something like that, it's fine, totally fine. But when it is accepted, it flows like I can feel it. It's this energy that will flow through me. Yeah, that's totally. There's no where's my validation back, or where's my, whatever the case may be. Show me it worked. Or whatever. It doesn't have that.
You're not doing it to gain.
No.
But you gain because you do it genuinely.
Yeah.
That's the thing about it. Yeah.
I gain. Yeah, I do. Yes.
It benefits you in a genuine manner and not in like.
It's exercising the best part of me, because I also have, I have trillions of cells in my body as well, and not all of them are selfless. Some of them are highly selfish, and some of them are, manipulative, and some of them are all kinds of other things. I'm a whole person, and when I get to exercise the best parts of me, I get to feel the best parts of life.
Right.
Is what it is.
Right.
And I love to feel the best parts of life.
Yeah. Yeah.
So.
And to make a difference for people is one of the best parts of life. To genuinely, improve somebody's experience on whatever level it can be.
Yeah. Yeah.
John, you've always been good to us, no matter what. The store, you, the employees, it's a second home environment to us. That means a lot, actually. That means an awful lot. That's very important for me. One thing I do stress to a lot of people, I was working at GameStop like 13 years ago at this point. That's weird. But we used to occasionally have like kids come in and just hang out and play games, and their parents weren't there, and they would just sit on the machines all day long and just try to play. And I remember we had a district manager at one point was like, they can't loiter, they can't sit around, they can't be here, which I guess on a corporate level is kind of like, just a no loitering policy. But what I really wanted to emphasize with the shop as well is I want people to be able to walk in and not worry about whether or not they're going to buy something from me. If they buy something, it's because they found something that is of interest. If they don't buy something, it's because they might not have found anything that they needed or could afford, or any number of reasons.
Or that's not why they were there.
But the bottom line is they can be there because they want to be in a place that is sanctuary, it is safe, it is friendly, it is accommodating, it is warm, it is genuine. So that way their experience being around other people who weren't just there to sell them games, but other people who wanted to share the experience with them, everybody behind the counter would offer that. Everybody who was there would genuinely tap into the reason we are all in the same building together. That's the most important thing to me. And so whether or not people would come in to buy games was irrelevant. If they did, that's awesome. But I also found that, obviously for business, I need to sell them. But the business design that we ultimately ended up pushing towards was that be good to people, treat them fairly, be honest with them.
Be excellent to each other.
Be excellent to each other. And with that, people will come back to the store and support the store because they want to support the environment, not because I'm trying to, trick them into getting their money,
Yeah.
But to foster a place in which it was an experience that would be good for the community as a whole. And so I've been really actively trying to nurture and foster that as much as possible. And as I'm human, I do make mistakes and I do slip up from time to time.
This just popped into my head with what you were saying, that the Cheers song.
Where everybody knows your name.
Sometimes you want to go where everybody knows your name. And
that's true.
Sometimes you want to go where you feel visible, or you feel whatever it is that's positive that gets to flow through you at that time.
Right.
And your store has that dynamic. I mean, anytime that I've gone to visit you in there are people in there just like standing there like talking, like just wanting attention. Actually, there's a lot of that. And wanting to give attention, I'm not saying in a needy way, just like here we all are.
Right. Yeah.
And it's definitely a beautiful thing. And I also believe that's the most healing thing that people can do for one another, is just be present and visible to one another.
Yeah.
And that it has more magic in it than anything. One
thing I noticed, and this is an interesting paradigm shift in my personal life, is 10 years ago, a little under 10 years ago, is when I underwent one of the biggest transformations of my life due to a really bad relationship. I just acquired the store. A whole mess of stuff happened that really changed me and my philosophy, my outlook on life, how I handle situations. And so when I was working at GameStop, it wasn't that I was like a crummy person, but I definitely think that there were things I didn't handle in a way that I absolutely would right now. And some of those would be because I do try my best to be as friendly as possible. Maybe I just have an energy that feels approachable to people. Sometimes I'd be at GameStop and people would come up and they would start talking to me and talking and talking and talking. It was kind of like, like I'm not here for this. I want to do my job and I want to get you the game, but like, why do people just, latch onto me? And later, after I had sort of, gone through like, the really hard situations and the difficulties, and realized that like maybe people view me as safe. I'm not sure what it is, but when people approach me with that, to me, that is them handing me that much trust, the trust that can exist between two of us as acquaintances on a very small level. And I value that now tremendously. 13 years ago, it might have been a very different thing. And, I'm young and I'm edgy and like dumb and whatever. But now I look at that, and when people come in there and they start talking to me, and some people tell me stories about their day. Some people tell me, stories that are a lot more interpersonal. I had somebody call me at work. I think I told you about this. He called me at work once
to tell me
about a situation that he was having that was extremely difficult for him. And, we're friends, but I mean, like, it wasn't like, as close as I am with the people I regularly associate with, but that also brought us closer together because we had a 20-minute long phone conversation about the situation. He had no idea what to do. And it was very much like I was doing this Blue Lady podcast live on the phone with just him.
Yeah.
It was a really fascinating kind of thing, but I valued that. And I was like, if somebody's going to, trust me enough to hand that to me, I sure as hell am going to protect it. I'm going to treat that like a valuable object.
Yeah, it's gold.
It is. And really, cherish that, because when somebody hands you that, you take care of it.
It's why my work feels like nothing but just being showered in gift.
Yeah.
Constantly. That's how I feel.
Yeah.
Did you see that, what Raina just said?
Perfect example, Michelle. We have often called it our happy hour kind of place.
Did you know that?
No. I did not. That's
Wife John's eyes.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. People do that because you're an empathic, compassionate type person. It happens to me a lot, and it can be stressful, but it's a big deal. And there were a lot of times, especially when I actually had the two stores, where a lot of people would come to me over and over, and I was actually so overwhelmed that it was difficult for me, and I had to actually step away from it for a bit.
Yes.
Now I'm in a position where it's a lot easier for anybody to approach me because I'm much less stressed. I'm still very busy, but I'm not overwhelmed any longer. Mm-hmm. And so it's very nice to be able to give that back.
A few weeks back, we were talking about how when that overwhelm, when we've taken good care of ourselves, there's actually an unlimited energy tap.
Yeah.
And there's not an end to it. It's an open circuit.
Yeah, when you're good, you can't be drained.
Yes.
And earlier this year, I certainly wasn't ready for it. Mm-hmm. There was definitely a period of time where I had too much going on, and I was not able to channel that in any way. Mm-hmm.
Yep.
I forgot about that. That makes sense.
Yeah. So, and also Emily said a little bit back that she's going to make us dinner. So.
Excellent. I would like a taco. please. Just one, but make it big.
I would like to not have to be anywhere near tacos.
Anywhere near them? I
Yeah,
have tacos in my house.
Oh no.
Yeah, watch out. You're fairly close to several tacos.
Well, then we'll have to compromise.
John is the ultimate empath and an incredibly engaging person to talk to. People tend to latch onto that. It's a safe and warm type of personality,
Yes.
and that's a rarity, especially coupled with your ridiculous sense of optimism.
Yes.
That's true.
Yeah.
That's true.
Sure.
Yeah, a lot of people actually ask me, how are you so optimistic and faced with things? And I just tell them I don't have a choice. We actually went through the exact meaning of that where I do have a choice,
Yes,
and
we
I
did.
very
I remember
much
that.
choose. But the reason I say I don't have a choice is because I can't imagine handling a situation any other way. Because when it all comes down to it, if I have to deal with a situation in any capacity, I might as well do it to the best of my ability.
Right.
Absolute best.
Right.
I don't know
Bananas in my taco.
Yeah. I don't know if I told you about this, but I had like a store meeting with some of my guys a couple of months back, and I was talking with them about something that I had heard where you've heard the phrase, is that the best you can do?
Yeah.
Yeah. But like, when you think about that, it almost sounds kind of something like, is that the best you can do? But what it means is, are you performing to the best of your ability? And a lot of people don't, and not because like they're, have a bad attitude or, want to do poorly, but a lot of people sometimes they do what it takes to get by. I've done it plenty of times before. Sometimes you don't have the energy, sometimes you don't have the will, sometimes you don't have the drive. But that's what I talk to my guys about, and I say, when you look at the way you handle a situation, whether it's the customer or cleaning up the store or organizing something, are you doing it to do it, or are you doing the best possible job? And put the optimism and energy into that to look at it and go, I'm proud of what I did, instead of it's done. Is that the best you can do? Use that as an empowering statement to look at something.
We were talking about this earlier when John came over today.
Mm-hmm.
And I went kind of off on this subject earlier today.
Mm-hmm.
And the way you were putting that just now was helpful for me. It cued me.
Oh, good.
When you just said, am I doing my best, and not in a derogatory, put down insult type of a way, but if I'm really exploring that.
Mm-hmm.
Now, if I'm doing my best, what that must mean is, because if I am really doing my best, what that must mean is I believe that there's value in my best.
Yes.
I believe there's a value
Yeah.
in doing my best. And we were talking earlier today about how sometimes there's a fear, I think, that people have of freedom. And I'm not just talking about jail or prison or probation freedom. I'm talking about, freedom to leave a relationship, freedom to whatever the case may be that is feeling entrapping. And in order to nurture a sense of freedom for your own life, you have to be willing to take on the responsibility that you're freaking capable of moving mountains.
Absolutely.
And freedom is a responsibility. They have a relationship with one another, and self-empowerment and belief in self are required in order to even want full freedom.
Mm-hmm.
To want it.
Mm-hmm.
And to really accept that ability and that responsibility and that freedom, it requires that I don't ever excuse myself at all from the acknowledgement that I'm responsible for all aspects of my life.
Mm-hmm.
and it requires that I excuse everyone else from being responsible for the aspects of my life, because we all have relationships and we all have jobs and we all have things going on, but we all have the choice, like you said, the choice to be happy or not. We all have the choice whether or not to invest in absolutely any relationship or any job that we're investing in.
Mm-hmm.
And when we're telling ourselves something like, oh, I'm trapped, or I can only do this, or this is as far as I can go with my self-empowerment, that all that says to me, really honestly, is I want somebody else to hold responsibility for me. I don't want to. I don't want to deal with this.
Right.
All of this. Somebody else can do it, and since nobody really can, then I'll just call it hopeless, or call it limited, or call it something that it really actually is not.
Yeah, absolutely.
So.
Absolutely.
That was going through my mind earlier today, and I just. Yeah. It's been on my mind for a couple of days.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Especially with what happened to the store.
Yeah.
And that individual, whoever that was, and we read through comments yesterday of people commenting on your community page, right?
Community page, that's correct.
Community page about the incident where the guy came in and with a, firearm and, demanded what he demanded. And we talked about just looking how fascinating it was to look at the different comments and the different atmospheres and beliefs that were underlying. Oh yeah,
a lot of different,
that were underlying all those different comments, because they ranged from fuck people like that to God bless that guy. I hope he finds something like better for his future.
Right.
They ranged really really wide. So
let's see. You know that I'm chronically ill. Let's see. Is this like a private thing?
Chronically ill. I'm not sure.
Or if it's just addressed at me, because I'm actually not sure how this works. If it's something that appears to only me, or if it's something that actually appears fully in the chat. So I'm a little apprehensive to say it just in case. Let's see. Yeah, I'm not sure. Maybe that just pops up because it's the name of the channel.
Well, even if it is private, there are aspects of that we can talk about without dishonoring any confidentiality. Anyway.
Yeah, absolutely. Okay.
Oh, interesting.
To us both, does it not appear in the chat for you? This is what I want to make sure, because we can discuss this, but I'm also
okay. Jonathan, right? Is that who that is?
Who wrote like the message to me?
No.
Or that one? Yeah.
Thank you. Okay.
Yeah. Okay.
Because I was reading down.
Oh, okay.
Wow, Jonathan, for myself, as hard as it is to say, I use anger as a force for me, but it's not a blinder, rather a driving force for a lot of actions that I do take. I was having this conversation yesterday. It's one of my favorite emotions.
Anger.
Yes, I love it because I trust myself with anger. I don't do damage when I'm angry.
I think that's a huge
I trust myself when I am angry.
You trust yourself.
And I use it as a self-empowering fuel. Because to get angry from a place of feeling hopeless or from a place of feeling depressed about a situation, it's a step up. And so I would never in a million years, and culturally, we really stifle anger. Like that's not appropriate, and you need to handle your temper, and you need to handle your tantrum and whatever. And I would never in a million years want to deprive anyone of utilizing that.
Sure.
And we went through it with you in the Chris situation where
yes.
it wasn't until you got angry about that relationship that you could heal anything. You were stuck, depressed for a long time. And once you let yourself be angry about what happened, then you could move on to, oh, I'm hopeful, and then, oh, I'm blissfully happy.
Yes.
But anger, it's like a pivot point. The way that I see it is a pivot point. If that's not something that you can utilize and allow yourself to feel, you will struggle between anger and depression.
Oh, Aaron actually video called me.
Oh, got it. Anyway, yeah. So Jonathan, that bueno.
It completely makes sense. Yeah, it completely makes sense. But like we can go back up to this. It wasn't like a private message or anything. I've never seen that pop up, so I wanted to make sure. But she says, that I'm chronically ill, diagnosed in 2003, suffering since childhood, and only within the past 5 years I learned to actually set limits on what I could or would handle. I think that's an extremely fair assessment of knowing what you are capable of and knowing what you want to take on. Well, and knowing what you're worth in terms of your own cradle and self-care in your life. Absolutely. There's a self-worth that goes into saying no when it's necessary. Yes, it's extremely important to be able to enforce that limit. And there's a lot of times where I tend to be very excited to do things, and so I want to take on a lot of stuff at once. And in many more recent months especially, I've been a lot better about saying, I'm sorry, right now is not the time. Yes. And it's not to dissuade interest entirely, but to say that simply right now I have no capacity to fulfill a request. And somewhere down the road I might be able to, but don't count on me. Right. If you can find somebody who's more capable or better or more timely, please do that. And if I'm able to, I will. But anger is a double-edged sword. Yeah. I agree with that. Anger it's something that
it's something that, I mean, there's I don't think there's a human emotion that we can't aim in a direction that is helpful or damaging.
Right.
I think we're capable of making anything a double-edged sword.
Mhm.
And anger is one that, I mean, I've definitely had to work at trusting that when I'm angry, I won't hurt, harm anyone or myself,
Mhm.
verbally, psychologically, physically, nothing. And I do trust myself with that. And I have learned how to utilize it in a way that propels me forward.
Right.
But there was a time in my life where anger for me, the way I used it was to harm my life and to harm others.
Mhm.
And yeah, it is a double-edged sword, and you got to pick which side of that that you're using. But that's with any emotion.
Yeah.
That's with any emotion, definitely, I think.
Yeah.
But yeah, I agree with that. Anger is, and it's something a lot of people are afraid to use because they have a tendency to do damage when they do let it flow.
Because the way I had to do it with Chris is I didn't want to be angry because I thought, you know, like, she's just doing her thing, she's living her life.
Because you saw it as I don't want to judge her.
Right. And so what I had to do, instead of like being angry and like calling her and be like, oh, you know, you're stupid, you're this, you're that, the other thing, I wasn't going to do that, and that wasn't the association that I thought was going to happen.
Right.
But what I ended up having to do with anger was being mad that I was allowing myself to be treated in such a way and accepting it and believing it and feeding into it, that I had to get angry to say, I'm worth more than that. I do not deserve this.
Yeah.
I need something better, and I have to be angry to push someone who will do that to me away. That's where the anger was channeled.
Wow.
And it wasn't to go to her house and smash her windows and, you know, like, cook her phone or whatever.
Yeah, it wasn't even to involve her. It was for you to move.
Correct.
Yeah.
Ultimately, it had nothing to do with her.
Right. Okay. Only recently learned something so important. Your worth is not contingent upon your ability to do stuff. You are good enough. Amen. As
Jonathan's wife, it has been hard for me to not want to stifle his anger. I've always had the belief of that which angers you controls you, and I'm a control freak.
I actually don't believe in telling people that they're good enough. Not to say that your worth is contingent on your ability, but I feel that to tell someone they're good enough is to potentially stifle progress, because you can always be better. Even if you're the best you've ever been, you can always be better.
So we'll have to redefine good enough as being you're worthwhile.
Yeah.
You are a
I
worthwhile
like that.
person. Yeah, and not just like settle for your value.
Yeah, yes, I like that, because you know, when I think of good enough or progress, I don't, the word progress has a connotation to it that has like a gradation. Graduate. And I guess I want to look at it more from the perspective of evolve.
Yeah.
Evolve.
Yeah.
Shift, evolve. And not judge one being better than another, but this is where I was at and this is where I was at, and I prefer this where I'm at now. And it may feel a lot better, but not judge it like it was a poor area of your life or something like that.
Right.
Yeah, I like that good enough meaning you are
worthwhile.
Yes, incalculably valuable.
Yeah.
And that's not it can't be subtracted, can't be touched, can't be harmed, no matter what we're doing. Yeah.
Absolutely. Kevin says, "Hey guys, I'm sorry I'm late.
Hi.
Bethesda was calling my name. That's so the conference that I'm going to tomorrow. They started off today, and they sort of technically yesterday. They start off like going like piece by piece, and all the companies are presenting their new games and their this and their that and the other thing. And so he was watching that.
Oh.
And so we're taking some of it out of the store. That's what's going on. Let's see. Worthwhile is definitely a better way to define it. Worthwhile. Oh, good.
Yeah, I appreciate that you said that. Because, and good enough, now that I think about it,
I can understand that connotation.
Now that I think about it, yeah, there's something about it that sits with me a little funky.
It's like almost like, this is a really interesting situation. Nameless friend of mine, we were all sitting around.
Their parents never named them.
And he didn't get a name, he just existed, and you could name him whatever, he was formless. And we were all sitting around like a pool one night, this is probably 2006, hanging out, me, him, this person, that person, 7 or 8 of our friends sitting around. And what the goal was to say something kind about the person next to you. And I don't know why a bunch of mid-20-somethings would do this, but I'm glad we did, because it was a fun little exercise and, kindness. And so his wife was sitting next to him. And as we're going around this thing, it gets to him having to say something nice about her, and they're like, "Yeah, what do you have nice to say about her?" And he goes, "She's functional," and everybody was like, "What? What was that supposed to mean? Like, is it simply that she's she can do what she needs to do. Like, she just exists and you're fine with it. And ultimately, actually, somewhere down the road, it came out that he was like, yeah, I figured I was never going to do bad. And it wasn't like worded exactly like that, but it was sort of implied that he was like, this is good enough for me. Therefore, I'll continue with it. And she was fine with it because she just wanted to pump out babies and, like, you know, keep going on in life. And they loved each other, but, like, it felt like it was not as, you know, in depth. And I'm in no position to judge anybody's relationships or life or anything.
No, I mean, that just
but the way
makes
they
me think about
expressed themselves,
expression.
everybody was like, what does that mean? What do you guys mean? And maybe it was like just something that between them meant a lot, but to everybody else it was kind of like, that sounds a little bit rough. So it was hard to assess and gauge accurately, but from an outside perspective, it was like, what could that possibly mean other than, you know, she's just functional. I describe a working washing machine as functional.
Yeah. Well, if that was his aim for his life and his marriage.
Yeah, that's his goal. Hey, everybody's got their own goals. Everybody's got their own, you know, everything that they're going for. My goal is to make John feel old. Juanita, my ex-girlfriend, was always doing that, just in a very, you know, jesting way. But she would constantly do that.
I've suffered with various diseases as well throughout childhood and now current state. Went through the various emotions, dare I say depressed.
Mm-hmm.
Illness begets horrific depression and self-doubt. My heart goes out to you.
You have learned that anger has always been a good answer for me. It keeps driving me to say whatever's hurting me will not defeat me. And I think finding your own way to combat things, you know? I think whatever it takes for you to combat something that genuinely benefits you, and benefits you for the sake of benefiting others, not what benefits you at the expense of others.
Yes.
And if you can use that to make yourself a stronger individual for those around you, use what is necessary. My goal is to make John feel old. I am. Guess how old I turned this year? I'm finally going to be right when I say it. 36. That's right. Is that right?
You were 1981.
I was 1981. Yeah, for like the past 6 months, I guess it was about 3 or 4 months ago, we finally got around it. I couldn't remember how old I was, and I kept guessing I was a year older than I actually was. So that was interesting. It's absolutely tragic to me that we have so many societal stigmas against the physically and mentally ill within said society. It's terrifying to deal with these things alone. Yes. Yes. It is. It's interesting that we're very, not we, you and me specifically, are willing to push people by the wayside, but to look at something that is easier to dismiss because it's not functioning properly. It's not working the way it should work.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
And all of us, to some degree, have some form of dealing with things in an unconventional way.
Yeah.
You know?
True. Yeah. What my thought is about that, terrifying to deal with these things alone, is kind of like we were saying earlier, there's to undo aloneness and to commune, to come together as a community, and whether it's a little community, 2-3 people, or whether it's a larger amount, when we allow ourselves that trust, that vulnerability, that help me hold this, there's something healing in that, because it is not only is it scary to deal with something alone that feels bigger than you, it'll win.
Mm-hmm.
And not because it's stronger than you, that's not what I'm saying, but because if there's a fear in you of it beating you,
mm-hmm.
it will win. We really do attract what we believe. Our life shows us what our belief system is, and if I have something that I'm afraid is going to get the better of me,
mm-hmm.
that's not me at my strongest.
Right.
And to reach out and to have other hands that remind me, the care and the nurturing that does exist for me.
Right.
There's strength in that.
Yeah. Absolutely there is.
Yeah.
Worst thing I've been told that physically and mentally ill people are is other. It's dehumanizing and shameful to be that other from what society tells me. Let's see, you're so right. Fear makes people do terrifying things. Yeah. Jonathan says, but as a credit to my wife, she has taught me how to learn to ask for help, also to know that it is only human to feel emotions at times, although I hate that feeling. Yeah, I know that there's definitely times where I've had pride in terms of not wanting to feel certain feelings because I think it makes me less susceptible. Yeah. But it stifles the natural spectrum.
Well, like I said to you earlier, I had a dream that I saw a question written in front of my face that said, I'm actually going to, just because I wrote it down for myself.
Go.
It said, how do you know if you're changing for the weaker or for the stronger? How do you know if the emotionality is moving you towards weakness or towards strength? How do I know if what I'm feeling is an indicator of increasing strength or weakening?
Right.
Yeah,
Mm-hmm.
that's interesting.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, I had that dream earlier.
Yeah, that's something I know I struggled with plenty of times, is the concept of like, am I doing it to my detriment or am I doing it for my betterment? And sometimes it's hard to tell. Sometimes it's extremely difficult. Society tells us to romanticize certain thoughts because it's socially acceptable, and that can be really dangerous when they're actually detrimental to us. Society doesn't want men to cry or to show emotion, to show elements of weakness or fear or whatever it is.
Yes.
And that's I can't speak for everybody, but I know that's something that has definitely sort of been always sort of over my head, that people have to try to provide and give and enforce. And so having to sort of unlearn that and or plow through it, because I've always been able to express myself emotionally, but there are a lot of times when I guessed, should I be doing this? Am I allowed to? Should I do it in secret because I need to do it in some capacity? Because some people I know, like, they simply won't cry. They simply, have been taught not to. And I'll do it as necessary.
Mm-hmm.
But for a long time, it was always, it was ridiculed. Not necessarily I didn't stifle it, but it was ridiculed by certain people.
Yeah.
And that was rough. My family always embraced it, which is really good. My family, I don't think ever had an issue with it. But in terms of society and peers, let's see. Absolutely. Asking for help when you need it is scary and feels embarrassing, but that's only society being ridiculous. People need other people.
Yeah.
Even us INFJs, don't tell anyone I said that, I'll deny it. Yeah.
Embarrassing.
It can, I think, for a lot of
people.
people.
Yeah, like I said, there's a shame. What stops us from asking for help or accepting help a lot of the time, if it's emotional hang-up, is shame. There's a shame. I'm both mentally ill and disabled, and I don't conform to society's idea.
There you go.
Of what they think of me.
That's right.
Yeah, because they don't fucking know you.
Yeah.
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 INFJs. Mm-hmm. Intuitive. Oh, I don't remember them.
Maybe asking for help is a weakness for me, but over time I've learned that I can't do it all, though I damn will try. Yeah, in a lot of cases I'll try to do as much as possible, and then ultimately, I'll recruit help for the rest. But I've gotten to a point now, especially this weekend, where I can clearly move all my games in my garage. I can move stuff from upstairs to down. I can sort through all my stuff.
Yeah.
When I called people on Saturday, it was like, this is just going to make it faster and easier. I get to enjoy the company of my friends. Why not? Mm-hmm. And I like that,
Yeah.
And I'm not always in that exact place. I'm not always in that exact mentality, but let's see. Here, Rick. Yep. I'm in the boat with you, brother. You have a leg up on me, I think. People always judge my husband for his looks, but they don't see his heart. And yes, Rick is one of those people that, according to society, you see him as like, I'm not so sure.
Yeah, like if we're just looking at it through society's glasses,
mm-hmm.
Okay, so this is a felon with diagnosed mental illness
mm-hmm.
and diagnosed physical disability.
Right.
So the marginalized ability of that individual, it seems like it'd be really high, but Rick is somebody, I can feel this. Rick is somebody that's like, nah, none of that has anything to do with who I am. Yeah.
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 It was one of the coolest people.
At least in terms of being judged.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
First time I remember being told it was okay to cry was in Little League. I played catcher, got nailed, and
Last place you want to cry is out in the field. My dad told me as I walked back to the dugout it was perfectly okay to cry if I needed to.
Introversion, intuition, feeling, judging. That's the Myers-Briggs, right? Is that what that is?
I think so.
Yeah. I
took that test again recently. I don't remember what I got. But
we should do it. I don't remember. I know mine starts with E.
Yeah.
And then N. And I don't remember the other two.
No, I forgot. Yeah, it's an impressive thing, I think, and a very important thing to be able to tell your children or people around you, is to make them feel that it's okay to open.
Yeah. We all have this system in place that says all women are hyper-emotional creatures. And men must be emotionally detached.
Oh, yeah, yeah.
Yes, and I have a great example of that crap because
Stop being so emotional.
I'm sorry. Yeah. Watch. Yeah, you're right.
Yeah,
you're right.
Exactly.
I just totally endorsed that. How hysterical. Hysterical. No, but I do, because John brought up to me last night that Ariel brought up to him a concept of reverse rape, which was freaking fascinating. And it goes right along with that. So what it was talking about is if someone is rejected for sex and it hurts their ego, then you have just reverse raped them. And that throws through my head this concept of, I don't want to feel what I feel. I'm going to make sure you still hold what I feel.
Right.
It's still your responsibility.
It's fascinating.
Reverse rape.
Yeah, I know. That's how ridiculous
Look
it is.
Look it up.
Yeah.
It's stupid. It's so stupid.
It is.
It's so stupid.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, outlandish concept. It's definitely something that was invented to try to protect an ego.
Yeah, my mouth dropped open like, what? I had never heard of it before.
Yeah, she was reeling. We were walking down the street and I told her about this and she was literally reeling, like physically.
Yeah, I did.
Yeah.
I was like, ah!
Yeah.
What the hell?
Yeah, because then you're trying to diminish the power from the person who's trying to enforce it in the first place. And by doing that, you strip them of the power. And so you're violating their fragile structure.
And I think what I said to that was, so your ego, nah, I'm not going to say that. I'm not going to say that.
I resemble that remark.
Yeah, it is fucking stupid. Yeah, but look it up if you want to laugh your ass off at ego issues.
Yeah, I hadn't heard of it before, but through some discussion, I was under the impression, or I did discover that in certain areas and contexts, it was actually much more common. I've never, knew this was a thing. But
well, we've talked about this before, and we've never called it that because I never heard that term.
I never heard the terminology. That's true.
But we've talked about this, like the dick pic thing. We've talked about this before. Like
that's actually true.
And if I'm not responding to that, then I'm the bitch.
Yeah.
And I have I don't know what I'm missing. And
right.
You know what I'm saying? Like there's actually, I mean that's I've never called it that before, but that's a real belief that I've encountered is that if I'm not adoring whatever.
We actually had the exact same conversation on the way up to Moriarty or Edgewood.
Yes, we did.
Yeah.
We did. Yeah, we did.
It's very much like that. Yep. Soliciting somebody, but if they acknowledge it even for a second, again, power's been stripped away. So now there has to be a reverse of power to say, well, I'm better than you because you suck. You're a bitch. You're awful. You're just like.
You're not even good looking. Yeah. Oh, that was what.
You're so beautiful. I know. Fine, you bitch, or whatever it was.
You're not even that good looking. What do you mean? I know.
Yeah, it was a really interesting sort of like somebody simply wanting to enforce power.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, and all of that. If you break all of that down, it comes right down to, like we were talking about a minute ago, the society's norms and standards and ideas and beliefs, and these things tangent off of that. Reverse rape is the refusal to sexually engage with women of the wrong body type, refusing to engage someone in sex of any kind. Yeah, I saw most of the definitions I saw today were in that direction of the gender.
Sure.
And some of them, and I did find some that were talking about it in other directions of the gender. So going both ways. But yeah, the original definition of it had to do with turning women down and their ego being all about it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Fascinating.
Definitely. Consent is mandatory. Anyway. Does anybody have anything going on tonight?
Yeah. Any questions?
We want to process through. How are you feeling? Because you've had.
I'm actually feeling better as a whole. Getting, I think, some food in me has been good. Yeah, I was on this terrible caffeine high all day because I rarely partake of caffeine in almost any capacity and never to this degree. And I had a huge frappuccino that had a bunch of it in there. I couldn't tell if it tasted like chocolate, and it ruined me. I don't like coffee at all, so I never drink it. So my tolerance for extreme levels of caffeine is like minimum. So I drank this whole large s'mores frappuccino, and I didn't ask for cream instead of like the mocha or whatever they put in there. It ruined me. And you saw earlier today, I was just sort of like on edge and feeling kind of like, I wouldn't even hug people at the store tonight because like a buddy of mine went to hug me and I was just like, I'm not right there, which is way beyond me. Yeah. And it was really strange. And I was just like, and I don't feel like that ever. But yeah, this like the caffeine thing totally did me in.
Yeah. Jeez.
Yeah, John was anti-hug today. I didn't know who he was. Emily says, I just appreciate you both taking the time to get to know my husband and not judge him. That means the world to me. And of course, yeah. You know, everybody, I think, just has a tale to tell. And taking the time to understand somebody's tale automatically makes them somebody worth relating to.
Yeah.
You know?
It bothers me when I hear of anybody like Rick being judged. It drives me completely crazy. Completely insane. Like it's my anger fuel. It's my main anger fuel in my life. Actually, it's precisely that. What you guys encounter on whatever frequent or quasi-frequent basis of him being looked at some kind of way. It bugs me to no end. Yeah. Quadruple shot of espresso. Biggest mistake I ever made.
Sure, there wasn't an espresso shot in there. It might have been. I have no idea. But all I know is whatever was in there ruined me bad. Because usually I get vanilla bean frappuccinos, but as I was walking in, I saw the sign for s'mores, and I was like, I like s'mores.
I like s'mores.
You know? I'm a guy who could eat the s'mores, but I could drink it this time. So I did that. It ruined me. So,
well, you look like you're all back together now.
I'm feeling much more composed. Yeah, it was really weird, though. Like, I didn't like feeling like that.
Yeah.
But... And I was feeling like that, and so I very actively decided I was going to not invite it, and I was going to let it just be that way until I felt better. So. Yep. Yeah, I had a good night's sleep and a good meal and good conversation. I think helps tremendously. Let's have a campfire in the middle of the store. We can do that.
Yeah.
Let's see. Make some s'mores. Byron, talk to me after a couple of cups of Cuban coffee. I could taste colors. Yeah. Yeah. What really sucked is one of the ways I realized that caffeine was affecting me so much is because I also don't drink energy drinks. So like I have no exposure to like taurine or caffeine or any of these things that are like super stimulants. And I was working out a lot last year to combat a lot of the depression I had from Christina. And so I was drinking a lot of like energy drinks and protein shakes and creatine when I go to the gym, things like that. But what happened was somebody I was talking to said, oh, you should try, Monster actually has a protein shake. And I was like, yeah, but I don't want like an energy drink. And they said, no, there's not any caffeine in it or anything. I was like, okay, might as well. And so for like a straight week, I would drive to the store, and on the way there in the gas station, I'd grab like a big Monster vanilla or chocolate or whatever. I would chug it, go to work and do my thing. And then I'd always start to feel like unbelievably like shitty and anxious. But I couldn't tell if it was the stress from the Christina situation, because that's also made me feel like that. Right. And then during certain days where she was less on the mind, I would still feel like super duper awful and anxious. And one day I was looking at the Monster shake, and I looked down the corner, and I was loaded with taurine. I was like, oh, damn it. Like, yeah, and I was like, okay, so I can't have like stimulants like this because it's way too much for me. Yeah. So, yeah, I am very, very, very glad that I stopped doing that, and I'm definitely gonna be a little more careful because I just know the effect that it has on me now, and I didn't like feeling like that today. Because that's how I felt almost like a full year when I was dealing with Chris initially. I felt like that daily, just from hypercharged emotions. Yeah. That sucked. Well, I have it. Good riddance to that. Yep. Yep. Absolutely. Trucker pills. Yeah. Oh man, oh man. I was thinking maybe yellow jackets, those things are poison. Trucker pills. Oh, actually, in the night where we were finishing up the West Side store after we had moved it, we had to like scrape all the carpet glue off and like cement paint the entire thing basically as soon as we could, because the scent was so strong that we didn't want to get anywhere else in the complex, and unfortunately we messed it up because it's just too potent. And it ended up like sort of getting its way into like the grating and getting to the Chinese food place next door, and so they smelled like really bad fumes, and like we felt awful, of course. So we couldn't do that again, but we had to make sure we did it all immediately. I need to address this thing. Rusty, I think that I think I've seen you on Facebook quite a bit. You're a snowboarder, if I'm correct, right? A few up ago, he said something like, show us more. This is probably not the place. No, I'm not taking anything off, sweetie. Yeah. You can, no.
Jesus Christ.
Yep. Yeah. How does that make you feel?
Yeah, are you talking about genre? I think he's talking to you.
Oh, that's
Stand
sure.
up.
All right,
Show
hold
him
on.
something.
Get some leg. I've got a whole bunch going on all the way up to Massachusetts and back. Yeah. Yeah.
John is a sexy chick.
Remaking The Hot Chick with Me instead of Rob Schneider. That's good. I don't know about that guy. So.
That's funny.
Yeah.
Amish strip show.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. Yeah. You want to see my ankle?
You know when you did the thing at Comic-Con?
Mega Man?
Yes.
Yeah.
That's one of my favorite because you're so
I'll take the shirt off if that's what it comes down to. Yeah. No. I'll do what needs to be done.
Oh, that's awesome. Yeah, this is go to town. Talk to him.
Yeah.
I'll watch this all day. Holy shit. Hell yeah.
That's true. New wallpaper.
Yeah. Everyone said Rusty Dick.
Oh man.
This is so freaking funny.
I know. Of all shows for this to be happening on.
I can't believe it.
I know.
Oh,
It's like it almost has to be set up.
Yeah, it does. It almost seems set up because the blue lady's not an actual lady. Yeah, it does seem set up because we were talking about this today earlier,
months
and
ago.
then several days ago on Thursday night.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's funny.
I wonder if he feels reverse rape. Okay, this thread is way fun.
Yeah, it got quite interesting.
Way fun.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
I mean, it's a great illustration. This is precisely what we've talked
This is
about.
actually exactly what we were talking
What
about.
we've talked about.
So to sort of see it live.
So here I am, a female, and that somehow grants permission for some sort of interaction. It's fascinating, this gender thing. It blows my mind, and the sexual entitlement. It blows my mind. This guy needs to get off. We could totally end it too.
Oh yeah. Okay, we need to.
Yeah, let's get out of here.
Okay. All right.
It just made my night too.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, reverse raped. Well.
What happens?
Holy shit.
Yeah.
Yes, Kevin, go for it, please.
This is something else.
I'm like awaiting Kevin's move here.
It's true. Just we needed those laughs. It's good.
Yeah, definitely.
It's good.
Poke.
There you go. Well, at this point.
Ooh. Oh, damn.
Wow. There you have it.
Thank you for that. Rusty isn't a real person. He's the personification of everything he wishes he could say in person.
That's true. Yeah. And if it's something you can say online, you can definitely say it right to somebody.
That was that was eye-opening for me to read it that way. Thank you for putting it that way. Wow. Send all the dicks. All the dick pics.
Running on a high note.
GameCube pic.
Oh, it's all over the internet right now.
You turn on everybody with that one. Yeah, I agree, Emily. Definitely, he'll learn. But yeah, I think I've seen him around Facebook. He's a snowboarder. I think I've seen him around some of my friends. Yep. Limp ones. Well.
Sometimes you get limp ones. Limp pictures.
Tube
Tube topic. That's a good one too. Yeah. That one's high on the food chain.
Yep. The food chain.
Yeah. Of consumable media.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow.
Oh, good Lord. Okay. So with that,
Yeah. Let's call
you
it.
ready to finish it up? Excellent. So I want to thank you guys also for joining us tonight so we could figure things out, talk about stuff, sort of, go through motions as appropriate. And this is open invitation for any of you guys, anytime you want to watch the show. Pop in Thursday nights from 9 to like 10:30. We usually do this almost every week. And I mean, we can talk about literally anything, free talk, or we talk about our week. So you talk about your day, I talk about my day. We talk about somebody's specific issue. Sometimes a whole episode can be dedicated to somebody who just wrote in or is calling in actively.
Mm-hmm.
We've done a variety of things.
Right.
And it's all been really, really good. If you're having, even like, trouble with dating somebody or wondering why you're feeling X emotion, whatever it is, anything is fair here.
Yep.
Come on in, talk to us. Come to the store, talk to me, ask me to shake my sexy ass to my face. We'll see what happens.
Mm-hmm.
Might just happen.
He totally might do it.
I probably will.
Yeah. And Kevin, yeah, thank you. I know. Thank you. I appreciate that because it is a reality of, I didn't expect to see it here. That certainly did surprise me that homeboy popped in and acted like a total fucking turd, but it happens. And it is a nice thing to always know that there's an army of people behind ourselves, one another, that have backs, have our backs.
Absolutely. Yeah. We all got each other.
Yep.
Sounds good? Okay. Thank you guys tons, and we will see you next time. I probably won't be back in time on Thursday for the podcast, so we'll see when the next one's going to occur. At the very least, the week after that, but if something happens sooner, we'll let you guys know.
It's the reality of being a woman.
That's true.
Yeah.
Because you deal with that.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah. But it's not, it certainly is not the reality of anything that makes me feel defined.
Correct.
In any kind of way.
Right.
I'm aware that anybody that operates like that has nothing to do with me.
Yep.
Anybody that operates well has nothing to do with me. People treat others how they believe in the world.
Yep.
Yeah.
That's it.
So.
All right.
Love you too.
Good to go. Thank you guys so much. Have a good night. We'll see you next time.
Yeah.